Let's go to Baltimore, where the search continues for the killer of Detective Sean Suiter, an 18-year veteran of the force, married, father of 5. Suiter was shot with his own gun on November 15th after approaching a man behaving suspiciously in the Harlem Park section of Baltimore. Suiter died the next day. 1 week after Suiter's death, on Thanksgiving Eve, the Baltimore Police Commissioner revealed Detective Suiter was scheduled to testify before a federal grand jury in the corruption case against fellow police officers indicted for stealing money, property, and drugs. Now, it's unclear whether Suiter's testimony would have helped or hurt the officers, but Police Commissioner Kevin Davis stressed that there is currently no evidence to suggest that Suiter's killing was linked to his upcoming testimony, and went on to praise Detective Suiter for being an upstanding member of the force.
There is no information that has been communicated to me that Detective Suiter was anything other than a stellar detective, great friend, loving husband, and dedicated father.
Now, there's a reward of $215,000 for information leading to the arrest of Suiter's killer. Let's go to our panel: Eugene Craig, Laura Victoria Burke, Malik Boyd. Now, after this shooting, I mean, literally, that community was locked down.
Yeah, I mean, it was a total violation of people's civil liberties and civil rights. Folk had to have a special pass to get out the community, or forcing ID checks. I mean, it was literally...
They had ID checks on the streets.
Yeah, there were ID checks. I mean, it was literally a police state. I mean, if you've ever seen one. And, I mean, look, this isn't the first time a detective has been murdered. It's not the first time an officer, been slain while on duty. But, I mean, the facts of this case just, they smell rotten. You mean to tell me that an 18-year veteran of one of the craziest police forces in one of the craziest cities in America, literally, was disarmed, was murdered by his own weapon, and in a city where streets that actually do talk? Let's go back to the Stop Snitching campaign. You mean to tell me nobody saw it? None of the hundreds of cameras you have in the city caught it, and you literally have no leads in this case? I don't believe it. I mean, I think there is a direct connection where you have a detective who's a quote-unquote stellar detective, getting ready to testify against officers who are literally corrupt and were federally indicted on stealing drugs, stealing money, and stealing property, murdered the day before. And where's the FOP on this?
Of course, precisely.
Yeah, all of a sudden there's silence from FOP. Yeah, it's
Blue Lives Matter.
Amazing coincidence that the cop who was going to testify against other cops just happens to be the cop that gets killed on the streets. And typically in a city, obviously when a cop gets killed, it's more than just a small. It's huge. It's a manhunt. It's a dragnet. It's about as coincidental as John Conyers' settlement file being leaked out of all those settlement files. It's an amazing coincidence that happened. So clearly something's up here. We'll probably never get to the bottom of it because the people who are doing the investigation or who exactly?
Where's Gene Ryan and the Baltimore FOP? Where's the Blue Lives Matter crowd? Where's Sheriff Clark on this?
Silence.
Where are you guys? Come on, where are you guys? Let's get some honesty on this.
Amazing.
Get some honesty out of this force.
This whole thing is, it stinks. It smells like an outhouse, right? So I reported last week about the Baltimore police officers who were shipping drugs up to Philadelphia, and Philadelphia officers selling it, right? And now we have a case where literally we just witnessed a contract killing. That's literally what that is. Whenever, an officer gets killed with his own gun, shutting down the ballistics, basically leaving no trace on the street, right? It just says that Baltimore has some serious changes to do, and I think FOP needs to stand up and start.
When the officers in the Freddie Gray situation were on trial, Gene Ryan was out there every single day. So as somebody that lives in Baltimore, somebody that spends money in Baltimore, where's Gene Ryan and the Blue Lives Matter crowd when it comes to Officer Detective Suiter's death? You got to be out there daily. Get your cameras out there. Force answers. Figure out who killed this guy. Bring them to justice if you want to prove to the world that Blue Lives Matter actually do matter.
So is this an example of what happens when you actually cross the blue line?
Oh, no. Look, and again, I'm sure there are people out there who are saying, oh, my God, you're jumping to conclusions. But you cannot try to convince me. Like, here's the other question. Where was his partner?
There you go.
Well, apparently, it was the partner that he was with that day was not his normal partner, from what I've heard.
Okay, where was his not normal partner?
Right. That's a good question.
Right.
How was this guy accosted in an alley or whatever. I mean, one of the stories I heard that he heard a noise down the alley and he began to walk down the alley. Where's the partner?
I think that's one of the many questions. I mean, I would take it a step further. Why was it this high-value witness that's getting ready to testify before a grand jury against the officers that he literally served with, not under federal protection?
Right.
I mean, there are so many.
You know, DOJ is not going to do anything about it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is the
I
same
mean, that's
DOJ
one thing that
said,
we
hey,
can
consent
count
decree
on.
out the window. We don't need that
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
You know, there's no such thing as police brutality in Baltimore. But the thing is this, you know, there are so many breakdowns in government, so many breakdowns in the justice system. You know, and this guy lost his life. It's an absolute tragedy.
Here's the thing. This is something that erodes the public's trust in the process, right? So you see a man who has, you know, basically upheld the law, right, and used the shield to protect the citizens, and he gets taken out in a contract killing.
Yeah.
What does that say to the streets?
And here, now, according to the Baltimore Sun, that Suter and another homicide detective, who police have declined to identify, visited the 900 block of Bennett Place to investigate a triple homicide that took place last December. They were wearing suits and badges, canvassing the information. They were not wearing body cameras. 20 minutes before the shooting, Suter and his partner observed someone engaged in suspicious activity who police believe is the shooter. And they won't say what this suspicious activity is. The officers left the area after the first observation without engaging the person, but then they came back. It took place in a vacant lot next to 959 Bennett Place. They said there was a brief transmission from Suter's radio. The apparent sound of gunfire can be heard. Police said there were signs of a violent struggle. The signs of a physical struggle on Detective Suter's clothing are evident to us. The struggle was brief. It's a matter of several seconds. He was shot once in the head, close range, with his service weapon. 3 shots were fired from Suter's service weapon. His gun was recovered. No other weapons were fired or found. Now, again, I'm just trying to understand, where's your partner? And it says Suter's, we have body-worn camera footage from responding officers. Detective Suter's radio never left his left hand. Davis said on November 16th that the partner was, quote, in the immediate vicinity of the shooting. On November 22nd, he said the partner is seen on private surveillance tape seeking cover across the street when the gunfire rang out. Upon the sound of gunfire, Detective Suter's partner sought cover across the street.
So this is crazy. You know, this is crazy. So I have a couple questions.
So you heard gunshots and your partner.
Your partner. You said, okay, I'm out.
You take cover across the street.
You said, we gone.
All right. Okay.
So in essence, a first responder.
The first
chose not
responder
to
said, look,
respond.
it's not up to me,
Also,
bro.
the partner did
It's
not
on
have
you.
his radio with him. He called 911 from his cell phone.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
So, but my thing is this, all right? This is, I think there's a very glaring fact in that article that I think folks should take a look at. So if the police department said that there was a struggle that probably lasted a couple seconds, who gave you that fact? Who saw that there was a struggle that lasted a couple seconds?
How do you know that?
right.
How do you know that? And, you know, I mean, be honest, how do you know that? You know, in this time span, you know, with all this going on between the struggle and the shots ringing out, how did the partner have time to get across the street and away from his partner? If you guys are investigating somebody suspicious together, you know, that's what it says, you know.
Folks, I'll give this information. The viewing for Suter's, his viewing will take place today and tomorrow at Vaughn Green Funeral Services in Randallstown. His funeral will be Wednesday at Mount Pleasant Church at 11 a.m.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no.
That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
He
Unfiltered.
wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.